Tracy's fan club. Look here.
Where's the backpack at? I'm better at this than you guys are.
This is lost. Oh!
Unlock it.
Fix across
Thunder.
lightning. Okay.
Violet, invisible to the eye.
Black, white. Yep. And that one is on the
I've had it for 4, 5, 6, 7.
What combination this is?
Okay, what other direction?
No, don't say.
Direction.
White ball.
Oh my gosh. Where did it go?
Oh.
Try the,
Stop it.
27. We only
720.
Got a backpack. She locked me
No, 8675309.
866.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, you guys are gonna freak right this down. Yeah.
Love it. First three of these are
How
letters.
many blues do we need?
5.
5 tags.
The first one is yellow.
Can
It's only
the
8 today.
can the second?
So 1 or 5. The first one was into the B. Okay. Oh.
Yay!
You got 100.
Yay! Woo!
Rolling
Are you proud?
Mm-hmm. I am proud. That was tough. Whoever that 10th caller is will get to decide who gets to sleep on the cot in the bank for 3 hours tonight.
Are you guys calling?
Tammy, you are caller number 10. So whose
You guys can
team
stop.
are you on? Team Tracy. So who is this, Tammy? And then Tracy gets to pick who gets on the cot from 3 to 6.
I'm gonna go ball, Paul.
Calling.
One of you guys need it?
No,
sure?
you're taking it.
Okay.
AJ, ask Cole what happens if you recline the seats.
You get a strike, and they get onto you, and it really hurts your feelings.
So what's wrong with Cole, or what's right with Cole? Let's play that game. Personality.
I do not have multiple personality disorder.
Peace out.
Peace out, Girl
It's
Scout.
been real, and I get to go lay on the cot thanks to all you guys that call in. And get
Good night. Sweet dreams. You eventually slept in that chair.
Mm-mm.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Cole. Papa, you get to sleep in that seat then on the cot.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Last day here, I'm gonna say cuss word on there, just for the heck of it.
I'm gonna go take my break. Who's going with me?
I'll go with you.
You're not gonna get out. You're not gonna go TT. We did make it out of the escape room. What did you think it would be like?
I don't know.
I don't care. I mean, have you been mono free for the past at least 48 hours?
Yeah, I don't have tetanus, and I don't have. I don't know. I'd go wherever she wanted to go.
Who is she?
Someone special.
I thought you should been telling us you didn't have a girlfriend.
I don't have a girlfriend. Doesn't mean I don't like somebody.
Breakdown.
Turn that old car on.
I'm just cold. Now we go to the door.
Good morning, Andrea. Papa just got back in the car. Papa got to sleep on a cot for the last 3 hours. Papa feels good this morning. They're not real morning people this morning, are they? Poor Cole, he needs rest. He needs his rest.
Sorry I woke you up, Cole.
That's all you do.
Yes, they do. First Bank takes care of us real well. They take care of their customers. They take care of their communities. Tonight, after the block party, we'll go to Hugo, Karen. We've helped all the fire departments and the food banks in the areas. This is just kind of more for them. 5 people in here that signed up for this, and I think it took them a day or two to figure out what we signed up for. No, it's all good. I'd recommend it to anybody. Yes, he can, Penn. He can sleep through anything. Cole's got to have his rest. We need to let the driver sleep, because when he's awake, he just talks our ear off. we got a little peace and quiet right now. I was going to bring a Freddy Krueger mask and put it on while these young girls, while these young girls were asleep. I was going to put my Freddy Krueger mask on and ease right over there and whisper in their ear a little bit while they was asleep. Yeah, and now that I know Kayla, it kind of scared me to try to pull that on her, because I think it'd be like fighting a mountain lion. He said to do it on shifts, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Cole, for no bigger he is, he puts a lot of groceries away. Drops on the door.
Okay, we're at First Bank in Atoka. Come on down. We just brushed our teeth, Tanya, so we hope the boys are. Sure, we love Mike too. Guys, it is his dream to be on Survivor, Ball.
An hour ago when he was drooling on himself.
I don't drool.
The girl in the middle was snoring at 4 a.m.
Girl in the middle was tired, yeah.
Why do you why are we not knowing everything?
Yeah,
it's like every day we learn something new.
No, Bubba's gonna whip and nay.
The cot was great, Tammy. It was great, and I got to share with Ball. I didn't share it with him.
Yeah, there we go.
We did it at 2 different times.
Yeah.
2 different. Woo!
We're gonna play.
Okay.
We're gonna play.
Name something people handle with care. Bombs. First thing.
I'm gonna go with glass.
Ding.
Yeah.
They're wrong.
They're wrong.
Right.
They're wrong.
They're
You've got
Papa's
one
mad.
X on the board.
That is so
Yeah.
cool.
And then you need to pick a bandana.
Oh, okay. I'll wear pink with you.
Okay.
Put it around our neck.
And everybody needs a cowboy hat.
Oh, yeah. No, it's gone.
No, it's over the grass.
Oh.
Yo, what? None of this. 6 gun in this.
She'll learn to rope and ride. No, we have to have 9:30.
930.
So thank you so much.
World champion bull
Who
rider.
grows up around here and doesn't know about Lane Frost?
Some Lane Frost, guys. We are going to meet
Yes, I do need a snuggle buddy.
Clyde and Elsie.
And this is Stetson, and Stetson is here with Lane Frost wear.
Today they've been spotlighting like per town something memorable of that town or influential person, and today it's Lane Frost in Atoka. He actually went to high school here, lived in Lane outside of Atoka. So Clyde and Elsie, Lane's parents, are fixing to get in the car, and hopefully, I don't know, somebody can read questions that's asked on y'all's live board, and they can answer them, so that would be fun. And I'm sure she'll give her testimony on Lane and things that happen with Lane. But hope y'all enjoy, and I guess this fix the start.
Hello, everybody.
How are you, Ross? How are you?
Not crowded up. Well, we are the parents of Lane Frost, who was a world champion bull rider who was killed at Cheyenne Rodeo in 1989 in a bull riding accident. And and there was a movie made about him later on. It's called 8 Seconds. And the movie didn't tell that Lane was a Christian, so we get to, because of the movie, a lot of people know about him and kind of have questions about it. So we get to go around a lot of times and tell people that he was born again Christian. So we know we'll get seen someday in heaven. And then we have these Bibles that we hand out, and I want to give each one of you one. Okay, and then my daughter owns the Western store here in Atoka, so she insisted I bring shirts for each of you. And
Thank you so much.
Yes.
okay, well, we lived in Utah before we came here, and we'd lived there for 20 years, and we were raised in southeastern Colorado, and then after we got married, we moved to Utah. Well, it took us 20 years to figure out we went the wrong way. It was too cold up there. Clyde had rodeoed. He was a saddle bronc rider and a bareback rider and bulldog, and he had rodeoed down in Oklahoma with Freckles Brown. They were really good friends. And so when we decided to move, well, he came down to their place and stayed and looked around and found 3 different places that he kind of liked. And so then he called me, and I came down, and we just happened to find one at Lane, Oklahoma. We've got 3 children. Robin was a senior in high school, Lane was a freshman, and our son Cody was in the 4th grade when we moved down here. So that's been almost 40 years ago. 40 years ago right now, actually. 78 is when we moved down here. So both of our kids like to rodeo. A lot of kids don't want to move at that age. You know, like I say, Robin was a senior and Lane was a freshman. But they were excited to move down here because they knew there was a lot more rodeos down here. And sure enough, once we got down here, they found out about different rodeos. But they worked hard. We had bought a place. We were poor people, and there was a lot to be done on that place. And so Clyde always taught our kids to work hard and get stuff done, and then we'd go to a practice pen or rodeo or something if we had time. And so when we got down here, then the kids joined the high school rodeo association as well as some other little youth rodeo associations. And so Lane, in his sophomore year, he qualified to go to the high school national finals. They take 4 out of each event, out of each state. So there's lots of contestants at the high school national finals. And so that year he was runner-up to the champion bull rider, because that's all he did at that time. And so he was tickled to death to do that. Well, his junior year he got to go back again, and he won the championship that year of the high school rodeo association in the bull riding. And then his senior year he got to go back to the finals again, but he bucked off one bull, and so he didn't do much good that year, and he was really sad and down in the mouth. And he told Clyde he felt like he'd let everybody down, because there was friends and family that had driven clear to Douglas, Wyoming to watch him. But Clyde told him, you know, Lane, as long as you try your very hardest every time, you haven't let anybody down. And so anyway, Lane graduated in 1982 from here at Atoka, and he had some offers to go to college on a rodeo scholarship. But Lane was not a good student. He was dyslexic, and learning was really hard for him. He chose not to go to college. He just couldn't wait to join the PRCA, which is the Professional Rodeo Cowboy Association, and get on the road full time. And so he did that. And the first year, he wanted to win Rookie of the Year. That was kind of a goal of his, because they give an award for that. And of course, he wanted to go to the National Finals Rodeo. They only take the top 15 in each event to the national finals, but of course everybody wants to do that. Well, he wound up 16th that first year and was runner-up to Rookie of the Year. Anyway, while he was at the high school nationals, he had met Tuff Hedeman for the first time. And so they were kind of rivals from the word go, because everybody talked about Tuff being the good bull rider from Texas and him being the good bull rider from Oklahoma. And then he also met a girl there by the name of Kelly Kyle from Quanah, Texas. But they didn't start going together for a couple of years after that. But then they did start going together, and they got married in 1985. And she was a barrel racer and was a tough hand. She could do about anything. She had won way more saddles and buckles than Lane had. So she knew about rodeo. But anyway. So then in 1987, Lane won the World's Championship in the PRCA, and you know that was just his ultimate goal. His whole life, he didn't say when, he didn't say if I get to be a World's Champion. He always said, when I get to be a World's Champion, I'm going to do this or do that. And then things rocked along, and Lane and Kelly were having some problems. And have any of you seen the movie, by the way? Have you?
Yes.
And they probably did the accident as close as you could get it to what really happened, but a lot of the other stuff wasn't exactly right. But anyway, Lane and Kelly were having some marital problems, and he'd told me about it, and I'd prayed about it, and I just knew everything was going to be fine, you know. But he came home one time and was just probably as down as I'd ever seen him. And Lane, he loved his fans, and he loved people to ask for his autograph, and you know, he liked to visit with them. He loved little kids, so he was always happy with in front of his fans. But anyway, his mom knew when he wasn't, and so he came in and was pretty sad, and he said he and Kelly had split up. And so I prayed with, I told him, I said, Lane, I'm not telling you this will put your marriage back together, but you need to accept Jesus as your personal Savior. He said, well, I've prayed about this, Mom. And I said, I know you have, and I know you're a believer, but I said, you've never made a commitment, and I said, this way God will be with you no matter what you have to go through. And he said, well, if I did that, I'd want to do it with Kelly. And I said, well, Kelly's already a Christian, you know, she can't do it for you, I can't do it for you, this is something you got to do on your own. So anyway, he said, okay, Mom, I want to do that. So I led him in a sinner's prayer there in our living room, and he accepted Jesus as his Savior, and I could almost feel a peace come over him. But I told him, I said, no, you know, if your marriage didn't happen overnight, and it's not going to get fixed overnight. I said, you know, we've got to pray about it, and we've got to pray that God will soften Kelly's heart, and she'll, you know that you're changed and whatever. And so anyway, God did put their marriage back together, and that was a miracle. There's no doubt in my mind. And so Kelly actually got pregnant that last year of Lane's life, but she had a miscarriage, so they never had any children. And so anyway, he was having kind of rough time there in 89, and he told me one time, he said, I thought since I was a Christian that things would be going better, you know. And I said, well, you've got to remember that God put your marriage back together. That's the main thing. But I said, you've also got to know that there's a devil out there, and he wants to come against you no matter, you know, and make you doubt your salvation and so forth. And so, and back then they didn't have the great bucking bulls like they have today. You know, it was kind of a drawing contest. And so I remember he called home one time, and he said he had ridden like 17 bulls in a row or something and hadn't even placed, you know, and so he was discouraged. But anyway, things kind of turned around, and so he went to Cheyenne that year and rode 2 good bulls up at Cheyenne and made the short round. That's when, you know, everybody rides 2 bulls, and then they take the top 15 or 20 to a short round. And so he was really excited about that, because Cheyenne is really a prestigious rodeo, and everybody wants to do good there. So in between his second bull, and they always have the short round on Sunday, that last week in July, and they went to a couple of other rodeos during that time. One of them was up in Canada, and so they knew they were going to have to drive most of the night to get back to Cheyenne the next day. So Cody Lambert stayed there at Cheyenne and got a room for him so they could rest a little bit before the rodeo. So they got in and all went to bed, and usually Lane was one of the first ones up, because like I say, Clyde had taught our kids to get up early, work hard, and get things done. But that morning he kind of slept in, and Tuff and them went to the cafe for breakfast, and actually brought Lane back some breakfast to the room, which is, you know, according to the movie, Tuff was really a bad person, but he wasn't quite that bad. But anyway, they went to the rodeo that day, and there was a couple of things that happened that normally you wouldn't have thought anything about, but he went in to get on his bull, and he forgot his glove, and you know, that's just unheard of. You don't do that when you're a bull rider. So he had to go back and get that, and then this was before cell phones, and so when he got down on the bull, just about ready to ask for him, the phone rang. There was a payphone behind the buck and chutes there, and it rang, and he said, "We better hurry, boys, that call will be for me." And we thought that was kind of a strange thing. Anyway, he came out on the bull, made a really good ride, and it was muddy, and he got off, and they knew the bull was kind of bad to hook, and so he kind of slipped in the mud, and the bull came around and just hit him with his horn and his head, you know, and he got up and knew he was hurt bad, and he motioned to the EMTs, and then he fell and was probably gone when he fell, but and they said that it probably broke ribs that punctured a main artery. But they worked on him in the arena. They worked on him in the first aid station. They took him all the way to the hospital. They worked on him. They worked on him at the hospital. They just didn't want to give up. But Tuff called us at home that day, and anytime I heard Tuff's voice on the phone, I knew Lane was hurt. So I asked him, I said, "I know Lane's hurt. How bad is it?" And he said, "Well, they just pronounced him dead." Of course, that's the worst thing a parent can hear. And so I had to go tell Clyde. He was over at the barn. She yelled for him to come outside, and told him Lane had been killed. And his first question was it a plane wreck or a car wreck? Because, that's the thing you worry the most about. And, we know a few people that's been killed in the arena, but it's very unusual, very unusual. So anyway, of course, it was Kelly's decisions as the arrangements and so forth. And so she came down, and when we buried Freckles at Hugo, Lane had mentioned what a pretty cemetery that was. And we hadn't lived down here long enough. We had any other relatives, but Freckles was like a relative to us. So anyway, she chose to have him buried there, and we're glad because it's not that far from us. But then shortly, in fact, the very next week after his death, there was a guy on TV then, George Michael was his name, and he had a show that had highlights of the sports for the whole week, and he was a real bull riding fan, and he and Lane had got to be good friends. And he did a video about Lane just a week after he died, which was really good. And so immediately then we started getting calls from people wanting to do a movie about his life. Well, at that time, we just didn't want to do that. It was too soon, you know. But as it kept on, I talked to Kelly and we said, maybe this movie could tell about Lane's salvation and bring glory to God, and it would be a good thing. And so we signed the papers with somebody. I don't even remember which one started out because it changed before it was actually filmed. New Line Cinema ended up with it, but it didn't start out with them. Anyway, so they started writing scripts. The first one was absolutely terrible, we thought. Had way too much foul language, and it just wasn't right, So they wrote one or two more, and so finally this last one we read, and we knew it wasn't right, but we thought maybe with some changes it would work. Well, then Kelly called us and said they had hired the director for this movie, and he had read that first script, and that was the one he liked, and that's the one he wanted to do. So we flew to Los Angeles and met with them and told them how we didn't like it, and they said, well, as we're filming it, you just tell us what you want changed, and we can make changes as we go along. So we came home, and I sat up all one night and went through that script and marking out bad words and changing things. And a few of them were just simple little things. I'd think, that's not the way Lane would have said that. And anyway, I don't think anybody ever even read my changes. I think they threw it in the trash somewhere. But anyway, they started filming, and they did most of the film, nearly all of the filming down at San Antonio in that area. And so Kelly was on the set all the time, and New Line Cinema was really nice to us. They told us they'd fly us down there anytime we wanted to go. So we did go as often as we could. So the first time that I was down there, and Clyde wasn't able to go that time, I was standing there by the director, and so I told him about Lane's salvation and how important that was to us for that to be in the movie. And he looked at me kind of funny, and he said, well, I guess there'll be atheists watching this movie. And I said, well, there'll be Christians watching it too. Well,
Good call, Mom. Way to go.
And he said, well, I just don't think that's appropriate, and it just broke my heart. I went out behind the barn there, and I just cried, and I said, God, how could you send this man to direct this movie when we prayed about it and we wanted it to bring glory to you? And God just spoke to me as plain as he ever has, and he said, everybody's here for a reason. We decided to hang in there, and we were able to make a few changes. But I could kind of see before it was over what God was talking about, because, most of us were raised here in the Bible Belt and have some background of religion and God's Word and so forth. But some of those people from Hollywood do not have a clue. I mean, we were able to pray for some of those people that had probably never had a prayer said for them before. And we did have some Bibles at that time. They were a little different than the ones we have now, but we, passed out quite a few of those Bibles. I know there was one lady, one morning, she was kind of a weird lady. She had a bird on her shoulder all the time, this pet bird. I don't know what kind it was, but it stayed on her shoulder. So one morning we got up real early and to go out to the set to film, and we were standing there waiting for them to do stuff. You do a lot of waiting in the movie business. And she said, gosh, it's so early and we're out here waiting on this stuff, and you look like you're happy. What's the deal anyway? I said, well, this is the day God made, and I'm just anxious to see what he's going to do with it. She looked at me kind of funny and said, that's interesting. Anyway, I prayed for her. But the director and I just did not see eye to eye. He told me at one point, he said, you don't tell me how to make my movie, and I won't tell you how to raise your kids. And I said, but your movie is about my kids. And I knew I was supposed to pray for him, too, but it was hard because, like I say, we just didn't see eye to eye. But I did find out that the lady he was living with was pregnant, and they were going to have a little girl. So I prayed that God, through that little girl, might soften his heart and he might come to know Jesus. And we did give him a Bible, and he seemed to be kind of touched by that. And so, we won't know about that till we get to heaven. But anyway, and there was other Christians on the movie set that we prayed with. But one of the things that I disliked the most about the movie was the way they portrayed Clyde as being a dad that was never pleased with Lane, and that was not the truth. When Clyde watched Lane ride, he wasn't a bull rider, but he had rodeoed with Freckles for years and pulled his bull rope and knew a little bit about it. So if he could see anything Lane was doing wrong, he'd tell him, and so that he could correct it. Well, at one point when Lane was that young, he didn't realize, how beneficial that was, and he came to me one time and he said, "Seems like no matter how good I ride, I can't please Dad." And I said, "Well, that's not right, Lane." I said, "If he just pats you on the back and tells you you've done a good job, that hasn't helped you a bit. But if he can find anything you're doing wrong and tell you about it, then you can correct it." So, and then he realized, how important that was. And so even as he got older, anytime Clyde was at a rodeo where he was, he'd come to him, whether he won first or bucked off, he'd come to Clyde and they'd discuss his ride and stuff, So anyway, I told that director that story, and he kind of blew it out of proportion. When the movie came out, they showed the premiere at Fort Worth, and it was just for the family and friends and cast and crew and so forth. So when I saw it that first time, I thought, well, it still had way too much foul language in it, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But I thought, well, it's not going to appeal to little kids, and that would have been so important to Lane. Well, was I ever wrong about that? As little kids, even today, their parents tell me they watch it till they're just sick of it, So that was a God thing, I'm sure. But after we saw that premiere, Kelly's mom came over to Clyde and said, "Clyde, your character's going to be the hero in this." I thought, what is she talking about, Well, then when it came out, we were just bombarded with letters and phone calls from people that we never heard of. And so many of them said that Clyde's character made them realize that they needed to mend a relationship with a daughter or a son or somebody. So Clyde really was the hero in there. But that had to be a God thing too, that he did that. And so, anyway, and it wasn't a big blockbuster when it came out, but it's still being shown today.
And what's the name of the movie for people who may not know?
8 Seconds.
8 Seconds.
And that's because you have to ride a bull 8 seconds to qualify, and so that's where the name came from. And and because of the movie, we knew Lane's death would make a big impact on the rodeo world because he was known and liked so well. But because of the movie, so many more people know about him, and so we do get to go to churches sometimes, at cowboy churches and different youth rodeos and stuff, and tell Lane's story and how he was saved. And so that's the main thing I want to tell people, because if Lane, and he was only saved about a year and a half before he died, and if he hadn't have made that decision, he'd be in hell today for an eternity. And that's hard for a mother to say, but that's what the Bible says. That's not my opinion. That's what the Bible said. So anyway, I get to go tell that story some rodeo.
What advice do you have to young kids who like Tucker Willis? Are you familiar with Tucker?
Oh yes,
aren't we all?
He's our neighbor and our good friend.
Oh, I didn't know he was your neighbor.
Yeah, he is, and he just loves it, and that's like when Lane started. We didn't encourage it. We didn't want him to be a bull rider, and we kept thinking he'd outgrow it, but he didn't. He just loved it from the time he was just so tiny, and that's kind of the way Tucker is, and so that's you've got to really love it to want to do it. If you're just doing it to impress a girlfriend or something, it's too dangerous for that. And I wish Tucker would do something else, but I can see the passion that he has for it, just kind of like Lane did. And so, his parents are doing the right thing. He's starting out on small stuff and doing a lot of practicing, and that's what it takes. And Clyde was rodeoing at that time, so we'd go to a rodeo. He would sleep through the whole rodeo till the bull riding started.
Right.
And then he'd wake up and, looked like he was watching it. And I just thought, well, it was because the bull bells were making a noise or whatever, So as he got a little older, we were at San Antonio's rodeo one time. And Clyde always liked to leave before the bull riding was over so we could get out ahead of the crowd. So he had slept through the rodeo. Robin was, about 2 when he was born, and he was he was born in October, and this would have been in March the next year, right about now. And so he had slept through the whole rodeo till the bull riding started, and then he woke up, So I got up and turned around to leave. Well, he started whining and crying, and I thought, he acts like he wants to see that bull riding. So just to see what he'd do, I turned around and went back where he could see it, and he just shut up.
Yeah.
Well, so of course I didn't stay. I went on out and told Clyde about it, and we thought it was kind of cute, but, I never dreamed that but from then on, you know, from when he was little, he played bull riding. When friends would come over, you know, he'd play cars and trucks with them for a while, but then he'd tell them how much fun it was to go out there at the corral and ride these calves. And he just loved telling them how and putting his equipment on them and stuff.
Yeah. So some of the questions from the audience, they want to know, do you guys still talk to Kelly?
Yes, we do, and I forget to tell people that, but she remarried, has 2 grown kids now, and is doing really good. She married a super nice guy. He just kind of accepted us as part of the family.
Good.
So we keep in touch. I talked to her just a few days ago, and well, she might say.
And then somebody asked, once again, advice for young bull riders. So,
well, just make sure they don't get on anything more than what they should for their age group. You know, let them start out on sheep or calves or small steers or something, you know.
And go to a good school.
Yeah, and go to somebody's good bull riding school when they get old enough, you know. Lane actually made a video years ago, and it's called Bull Talk, and we still have it, and it's kind of what he would go through at a school, you know, telling them how to ride and stuff, and they can get that at Stetson's website, lanefrost.com.
When you speak of Tough, to whom are you referring, and do you still keep in contact
Oh, okay,
with them?
yes, that's Tough.
Some of us don't rodeo.
Yeah, that's Tough Hedeman, and he and Lane were best friends, I mean, like brothers, when they rodeoed together, and Tough he won the World's Championship several times. Yeah, when Lane was killed in Cheyenne, the Cheyenne Frontier Days provided the plane, and Cody Lambert was another friend that rodeoed with Lane a lot. And in fact, Cody and Tough Hedeman grew up together. Their dads worked on the racetrack, and they grew up and was like brothers almost. But anyway, when they flew Lane's body to McAllister, just in a body bag in an airplane, and Tough and Cody came with him. I'm quite sure that was a hard trip to make, and probably didn't say 2 words during the time. But anyway, Tough Hedeman's a wonderful person, and yes, we do still stay in touch with him. And his oldest son is named Lane. He's got 2 sons, and the oldest son is named Lane.
Where could they get a Lane Frost shirt if they wanted them?
The Lane Frost.
Lanefrost.com would have all the gear.
Yeah,
Hey, Elsie, one of the things before you go that everybody asks is, could you pray for the people in the car, and just could you offer a prayer up? So if you wouldn't mind doing that, we'll pray, and then we'll let you guys go, and these 2 fellas right here can chit-chat.
Okay. All right, let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we just come to you today and just ask you to be with each and every one in this car, dear Father. This is a fun thing they're doing, but I just pray for each one of them that you might bless them and just be with them in the rest of their life, that they might know you as their personal Savior. And thank you for this beautiful day and the weather you've given us for this event. And thank you for the opportunity to be here and give our story, dear Father. And I just thank you and praise you for your many blessings, and we just pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. If you guys that are viewing want more information about Clyde and Elsie's faith and how that works for them, probably if you go to lanefrost.com, there will be a link there, and I'm sure that she would be more than happy to share with you what's going in her life that way, right?
Amen. Amen. Yes.
Thank you so much for talking.
Yes, thank you very much. All of you, and I wish all of you the best of luck. I know you can't all win the car, but
you guys look great.
That was super. That was really cool. That was cool. That was really Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Frost.
Yes, Derica, we have the best kind of folks in Oklahoma.
I would suggest not coming at 3 because Cole gets a little cranky when he's woken up at 3.
Oh, in the morning? Mm-hmm. Yes. Don't come see me at 3 in the morning. So nice. Look at that. Chili's taking care of us. No, I thought they just asked us what we'd eat from Chili's. I didn't know they were going to give us Chili's. We'll be right back, guys. We're going to eat.
The contestants are out for lunch. It's been a busy morning. They've had Clyde and Elsie Frost here talking about Lane Frost, bull rider, and all the things he did. Since we're doing all things cowboy, we have with us our own little cowboy. Here you are.
Well, I'm Michael Cowboy Ellis. I was on Big Brother 5 about 14 years ago. I was on season 5, went back for All Stars, and went back in season 11.
Oh, wow. And what do you do now? Why are you here in Atoka today?
Well, I'm the assistant GM for Atoka Chili's, And so we wanted to be able to give back. And of course, I'm on vacation this week, so I've been watching the feeds and everything, and I love how they interact. It's almost like being in the Big Brother house, but in a car.
Well, tell us about your experience on Big Brother. What were some of your best and worst moments?
It made me grow up at a young age. I was 23 years old, and you know, it's like when you give someone your word, you give someone your word.
Right.
And so at 23 years old, I learned, you know, you're fighting for $500,000. You can't really give anyone your word.
Absolutely.
But I mean, this is a little bit different. I mean, I love the interaction that they have. I feel like they're going to be good friends after this. And I mean, this year group is really unique. So you guys did very well picking this group.
Yeah. Would you, as a, well, not that you weren't an adult at 23, but you would?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm 37 years old now, and so it's like one of those things where if I was called back, I would probably go, you know, but it's better odds than the lottery. I mean, it's 1 out of 14
Really?
for $500,000. You really...
All right, well, I'm ready to go eat some lunch, although I didn't get Chili's.
Snap, Cole. Yeah, you lost your swagger.
I'm back.
Baby
Everybody
squirrel.
meet Cletus.
Okay, what was your name?
What? Are you kin to Zach?
You're Zach's mom.
Yeah.
No way. No way. Jan.
Team
what?
Kayla, Jan.
What? I already
love
know
you,
who you're
Jan.
rowing for.
Paul wasn't born, he was hatched.
Cindy Wallace, and she is from the Atoka County Museum. She's going to do some trivia questions with you to see how much you know about southeastern Oklahoma.
Okay.
You're getting a blank of 10 counties southeastern Oklahoma. Name those counties. Write the name of the county.
Oh, man.
You'll get at least. We have a school teacher here that's going to grade your papers for you.
It's not going to be good.
I am geographically challenged.
Yeah, that's right.
Good job. Yeah, just like that.
What are you talking about,
I'll
crazy
give you
girl?
a hint. See this funny shaped one right here?
Yes.
The name of that county is the name of the first governor of Oklahoma. Go.
What?
I don't know nothing other than these. I don't even know if that was right.
Oh, put your name on your paper.
I know what counties are around here, but I don't know where they're at. We see Peyton cheating off everybody.
What?
What's the mascot of Atoka High School?
Wampus cat.
Wampus cat. Very good. You've got the legend of the Wampus cat in your folder too. Yesterday you were visited by Reba McEntire's mother and sister. They talked about an outdoor music concert held in Atoka in 1975.
30 hours of Atoka.
No.
Often referred to as Atoka's mini country Woodstock. What is the name of this event?
48 hours.
48 hours.
48 hours.
What public
Macy.
sporting event did McAllister host behind the walls of the state penitentiary for many years?
Rodeo, prison rodeo.
UL Washington from Stringtown, Oklahoma, played
Quan
Major
City.
League Baseball and was an outstanding shortstop for the Kansas City Royals in the 1970s and 80s. What did he keep in his mouth when he played ball that
Toothpick.
had people worried for his safety?
Toothpick.
What Guinness World Record is held by Atoka?
Oh, it's a fire truck deal, wasn't it?
Fire truck parade, working fire trucks.
Working fire trucks.
The fire truck parade.
Yeah.
Longest.
There were hundreds.
My
of
husband
them
was in that
spread
one.
Several miles outside of town. Mount Olivet Cemetery, located in Hugo, Oklahoma, has a magnificent, unique cemetery. What special group of people have their own section to be buried in?
Circus.
Circus people?
Yeah.
I've been to
They have a
Hugo, but
really
I've
cool,
never.
like-
Everyone go to
They're
Mount Olivet
endangered
Cemetery.
art
Lane
foundation.
Frost is also
go, like,
buried there.
swim.
Okay, the Choctaw Nation's historical tribal headquarters is located where?
Tuscaloosa.
Tuscaloosa, very good.
I'm
What
gonna have to
town
come see
is
you now.
half in Cole County and half in Johnston County and was once a tourist destination with 3 hotels and trains bringing visitors to bathe in the mineral springs that were advertised to have healing powers?
Bromide.
Bromide is
Bromide.
correct.
Yeah.
You're kidding. It's a
Bromide
ghost
had
town?
3 hotels.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Ever.
What 2 Cole County brothers became household names after competing on The Amazing Race?
Jet and Cord McCoy.
There you go. In your visit with Jackie McIntyre and Alice, you learned the McIntyre kids graduated from Kiowa School. What school did they attend before Kiowa?
Limestone Gap.
Yeah.
But it was
Limestone.
One,
He's good.
Yeah, Limestone Gap.
What heartthrob from the 1970s topped the music charts with the song Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head was born in Hugo, Oklahoma.
Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Nothing seems to fit.
I know the
Jackie
song, but I
McIntyre
don't
when you
know the
need
singer.
her.
Where is
B.J.
Thomas?
Thomas.
B.J. Thomas.
Yes.
Quick draw back there.
Thank you, people.
What actor, bearing an uncanny resemblance, played Lane Frost in the movie 8 Seconds?
Luke Perry.
Luke Perry. Good job. This is awesome. It doesn't smell as bad in here as I thought it would. So I'm Cindy Wallace, and I am the director at the Atoka Museum, Civil War Cemetery, and Visitor Center. It's on the north edge of town on 69 Highway, just on the east side of the highway. It's an award-winning museum. We like to tell people that we have things from all the way from dinosaur bones in the front to a Reba McIntyre exhibit and a Lane Frost exhibit in the back. So it's a really great place to visit. We do a lot of things in the community with the Alumni Association and a lot of community events.
Did you know that before you did it?
not know that.
The rest of us knew.
It's because he didn't read the rules. This is what my grandson caught on his game camera right after deer season. There's another one. We got 2 pictures of him. Pittsburgh County Bigfoot.
I put Hughes where Pittsburgh was.
Oh, I smell great, like flowers.
Yeah, we've had a lot of visitors here lately.
No.
Team Fab 5.
Kayla has critters.
Thank
Cindy
you,
said.
Gracie.
And those of you at home, we're going to watch from in here. I'm going to turn this camera around so you can see what kind of cowboys these people are. All right? Yes. Coming in next. See what kind of cowboy he is. Block party starts from 5 to 7. You can bring your canned non-perishable food items. Ball Paw just got 1 horn.
Woo, go Tracy. Oh!
Cold. Those horns. So there goes Tracy in for her second practice.
Oh, she got.
Oh, she roped herself. She roped it. Next person up is Peyton. She's going in for the...
Oh! Yay, win!
Oh, she got it.
This is not for real.
What?
Oh, she got one. Oh, yay, Tracy!
Uh-oh. Cole's gone downhill since that first one. He got cocky.
Oh, God.
I see you. I guess I can. Cole's got to be perfect if he's going to take the lead in the competition. There can be no mistakes. Oh, we got one. Tracy's not a country girl. So Ball Paw's in the lead. That circle's bigger than she is, so let's see if she can get it around. And she got one. He got one.
Oh, she only got
Only if you're wearing the shorts. All right, Tracy's up. She's got good form.
2. Oh, she got one.
She's got one. So, and Tracy's going in for her second one. She's got to get 2 to stay in the competition. What's she got? Oh, she's going in. She's got.
Oh.
Oh, give her a round of applause. She's a good try. She used to ride horses. She says she still got them. We'll see what kind of cowgirl she is. Oh!
She's
going in for her second one. She didn't get in on the first one, but she's redeemed herself. She got both horns. She did great. Ball Paw was the winner of that. Okay, well, we're going to put them back in the car and they can brag about how good they are. El Adobe and Atoka gave y'all tacos. Looks like chips and queso and salsa.
Thanks, El Adobe, for sending those over. Where one of us is going to drive this baby away.
We won't be able to until Friday afternoon. I just smell them.
Just smell them now. They smell better. Just smell them. Just smell them.
You put some deodorant?
Yeah, I did.
A whole bunch?
We get along great. It's weird.
Yes. We can change clothes and brush our teeth and stuff like that. We just can't get
I
in
haven't
the
changed my
shower.
underwear though.
He
probably hasn't.
Where are my socks?
Is that us?
Hello?
Hello, Cole. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fine. This is Alice, 4N.
Oh, how are you?
I'm good. Did y'all get to see Miss Elsie this morning?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
And Clyde.
And Clyde came too.
Yes, ma'am.
He's just a chatty Cathy.
Yeah, he should.
No.
Yeah.
He is a they are both wonderful
they
friends.
They have a great family too.
Yes, they do. Yes, and they're wonderful people, and I just love them. Well, I just wanted to say hey to you guys and check on you and see how you're doing. Y'all are in Atoka today.
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all just stay cool and hydrated and have fun.
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
thanks for calling.
Well, you're welcome, Peyton.
Can I
and
ask?
I sure did enjoy yesterday.
We did too,
That
a whole lot.
Good. I'm glad we could brighten your day a little bit.
Yes.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye. Ooh, she let her hair down. Oh, let that hair down, girl. Tracy.
Trying to get you.
Because he'd have to wait until Friday to get his butt.
So who called us? Alice.
Yeah. She said, "Hi, Cole. How are you doing?" So I'm doing good. How are you?
You didn't say nothing about me?
What do you want me to say? Kayla's not here?
Yeah, Kayla's not here.
I
Call
said
back
it's just
at
me and
5.
Peyton. She said, oh.
900 and they kiss. Wendy!
9:30. 9:30 at 9:30.
Yeah, you get us 9:30 and they're kissing. Is it okay?
No way.
It's okay. It's okay. I want that big prize.
If we all make
if
it,
we get
there'll
to
be a
9:30,
drawing.
I don't care who I'm kissing.
Papa.
Hey, Crystal, we'll go there. I like Cole. Don't get me wrong.
Oh no!
Kiss
She's gonna be
ball.
so mad at me. The seat's very uncomfortable. Is it worth it? Yes. But it helps a lot of people. This helps a lot of people. It's not just about the car.
It is fun. It's a ton of fun. The one with the fidget spinner.
Yes.
Every time I turn around, they're poking a hamburger down us.
Papa would be awesome on Survivor.
I would.
Kayla would not.
It says beep beep. Who got the keys to my Jeep?
I'm almost there for you.
930 people at 9:30 p.m.
Hashtag Team Kayla.
Get him some help.
You guys has created this monster. You guys know that, don't you? Because you guys aggravated him for the first 2 days we was in here.
I'll kiss you on your lips if you wink at me.
Well.
No, I'm kidding. I'm not kissing anybody.
Tracy.
I haven't kissed anybody in a long time.
I'm not good with this eye.
Okay.
It's just my eye.
Okay, well, you just look like you were tweaking. Somebody needs to come get him out of this car. He's not only delirious, he's starting to hallucinate. I'm older than your mom.
Really?
Tell her age is just a number.
Age is just a number.
Until I'm sitting in jail.
He's over 18.
I'm legal.
He's all legal.
He don't look legal.
Go back to Kayla then.
No, we're not.
Somebody come to Atoka tonight, 5 to 7. Meet Cole.
Meet
Cole.
Cole.
Everybody. Kissing booth. That's
Hey,
the
we
way
can
to
kiss
do
booth.
it. And Dream Team. Don't wink at me. Dream Team. I can't look at you.
Which one wants to be blue? Which one wants to be red? Cole!
What'd he say? What'd he say?
He's out of control.
I'm so tired. Is that Cold Spice? Yes, it is.
That Cold Spice, right. Cold Spice.
Y'all don't encourage him, please.
Yeah.
Family Feud. Papa against Cole. Name an animal whose legs are featured on a restaurant menu. Papa.
Frogs.
That's the number one
If
answer.
you wanna be my lover.
Someone to
Can we
Snapchat.
flip the camera so they can see all of this? What do you want to know?
Kayla's got the hots for me.
Kayla has the hots for Cole.
Girl, no.
Quit touching on me like that.
And I haven't had a shower in 4 days. That could be it.
Who wouldn't be attracted to that?
I know. That's why you like me.
Mazio just brought pizza for you guys.
Thank you, Mazio. Give us
We love pizza.
Oh my gosh. What is live?
Breaking the law! Breaking the law! Oh my gosh. Turn that baby around.
Team Tracy.
Oh
my gosh. The other one says, Boppo.
We got our 15-minute break. Yeah, thank you.
This is Colton Tipton from In It to Win It 2017. He was not the winner.
Sit in there for
Maybe
5
he can tell y'all
days.
some tips.
We didn't get pizza like this, so I don't know. Y'all got it made. Oh, got it easy now.
Colton?
Give up now. That way you don't have to sit in there for 5 days.
Would you ever do this again?
Maybe for like a $90,000 Tahoe or something.
You're the first person I've smelled that has had a shower in the last 4 days.
Thanks.
And I can tell a difference.
Okay, Tracy. He was rubbing on your back a while ago. He's gonna. He'll do it again in a minute.
She likes it.
I had Jeremy rubbing on me, so you got a little better.
That guy in the front seat is a hottie, Chris Sheffield. Tipton.
You'll have the advantage. Y'all aren't 6'4", 6'3", so.
Out of that 6.
Is there a bump in the middle?
Yeah.
Oh,
Look at this. They put the dang deal right here.
Yes,
Michelle, usually you can kind of tuck on. This one can't tuck.
We have to alternate, like 2 in the back, and then 1 leans forward, and like 2 lean back. Me and Jeremy get back there, like you can see, like this seat isn't even big enough for my arm here, but it was fun.
You guys can come without Chelsea.
What makes me mad is they wake me up every 3 hours at night. I don't like that.
Where'd you get
But I got the cot one night, so like I'd walk in there, and it'd feel like I was walking out. Like I would be out. So that helped.
I got the cot last night.
Oh, you did?
Did they let you
So
guys
see,
give
I
it
had-
away last year, like to somebody too?
No. So what was the escape room deal? I didn't even watch any of it. Did y'all win or lose? Or
We got out like, what, 7 minutes to spare?
He just sat around and drank hot
Made y'all work.
chocolate. He made hot cocoa.
Hey, I found all the clues.
All liar, pants on
It is
fire.
the truth. You wouldn't ever seen that white box if it wasn't for me.
That's one. Pick another one.
Okay, I found
A
the
Jolly
thing.
Rancher you try to eat.
Yeah, found those.
You didn't know they were a clue until...
She said not to eat them, so I felt like they were special. I found everything in the drawer except for the backpack.
There wasn't anything in the drawer.
Yeah, there was.
What?
I pulled it out.
No,
wouldn't
you
know.
didn't. I went down in the bottom cabinet and pulled out the safe from down there, and I found the safe
the combination to the directional lock.
Lovers
So
quarrel.
I'm sorry for starting this. Anyways, I'm gonna get out, so I have that option.
So you do, don't you?
Yeah, it feels nice. I can get out whenever I want.
Yeah. Lucky you.
I'll let Bob back in though. Anyways, good luck, guys.
Thank
I'll
you.
check back in here in a little while.
I haven't been brushing my teeth. Is that okay?
Well, there's you a toothbrush.
Thank you.
From time to time.
And then I found all the clues.
I did
solved everything.
I found all the clues I gave you.